Okay. All righty. I think I am unmuted. Okay. Well, this is Karen, and I wanted to record a little something for you guys. This is for my digital gals. I wanted to remind you of the announcement that I made earlier this week that Creative Memories is hosting virtual workshops the second weekend of every month for the entirety of 2021. In the in our Facebook group, I'll go ahead and post some links for you to help you to join the blog page where they will email you regularly all of the new page layout ideas. They call them page recipes. What you're seeing in front of you on the screen is a sample of a page recipe from a few months back, and as well as the virtual events Facebook page. Now, the reason that I'm addressing you as digital folks is you might be dismissing the Creative Memories events because I'm doing digital and that's traditional scrapbooking. A friend of mine I noticed was doing some pages digitally with the page recipes that Creative Memories put out. And I thought, oh, that's kind of a good idea. I hadn't even thought about that. So I jumped in and I've done a few pages. I think I did a 2-page spread and I did this particular one. I don't know that I've done a whole lot yet, but I thought it was a really good idea. So I wanted you guys to maybe think about joining in and doing some of your pages this way. If nothing else, what I like to do with some of these events, depending on the mood I'm in, where I'm at in my projects, I might spend some time making some pages like this just to kind of stretch myself a little bit and try something different. Or it may just be a matter of me, sorry about that. It may just be a matter of me setting aside some time to work on my own books. And I know other people are working on it and, just still kind of have that sense of community. And, I watch pages coming through the Facebook page and see all the different ideas. And it's just kind of fun. So, okay. So this is what I wanted to show you. When you have the print guides on, if this is off on the side, you're not going to see it. It's going to be kind of hidden. Let me put this off on the side. There we go. So if I turn off the print guides, then I'm going to see this very clearly. If you prefer to just work on a blank page and eyeball what you see on the layout and just do your own thing, that's one way of doing this. What I did the first time, because I was just kind of getting my feet wet and figuring out how I want to do this, I went ahead and I made it the full size of my page, and then I used it basically like a paint by number page, if you will. And let me backtrack a little bit. The way that I got this is I went onto the blog. They gave it, this is, you see the number 5. This was number 5 in a series. I liked the look of it. I liked the circles. I thought it would be good for something that I didn't have a lot of photos for. I go to the blog post. I right click on the photograph of the page layout, the page recipe. Right click it, copy, and then I pasted it right here into my into Artisan. By the way, I'm working on Artisan 6. What I'm going to show you is not going to be tremendously different if you're working with Artisan 5. So if it's a page that I really like, and I think I'm going to use this multiple times, what I'll do is I'll copy and paste it into a Word document, and I might copy and paste some of the samples. What I would encourage you not to do is to just go to the blog and print the whole blog post, because you're going to end up with tons and tons of pages and it gets messy and it uses up a lot of ink. So really you just need to focus on whatever's going to trigger your memory down the road. If you're printing this out, maybe stick this in a notebook or something. What did you do with it? And put some of the ideas, because they'll have multiple ways that other people have used this exact same template listed in the same blog post. So anyway, so back to this. So I made it big the first time that I did it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to insert these circles first, because they're kind of in the background. So you go to the insert ribbon here, shape, ellipse. And I'm going to make this approximately the size of what I'm seeing here. It doesn't have to be perfect, and everything is changeable. Make it your own. You know, you don't have to do it perfect, but I'll do it about that size. I like to go over here, restore aspect ratio, and make sure it's a genuine circle, because the more you pull on it, the more it's going to become an oval. So restore aspect ratio makes it a genuine circle. Now I made it too big. So just you get it the way you like it. And that's pretty good. I can always make it smaller. Once I create this, it will remain in the proper aspect ratio until I turn that off. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of the stroke for now. I'm going to add one later. I'm going to show you something kind of fun. But for the moment, I want this to be a circular piece of paper. So I got rid of the stroke, and you can go in and you can fill it right now if you want. I'm just going to go ahead and create it. See, that's about the right size. I'm happy with it. So I'm going to right click, copy, right click, paste. And if you notice, there's two circles on this. So I'm going to lay that over there. Now what it's doing, it's obliterating my view of the next few things I want to add. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to take the template and put that on top. So you can see my circles are here. I'm going to put in the photos now. So I'm going to add an empty photo frame. It's still under the insert ribbon. Put that here, and it always comes in locked as a square. So you can right click on it and unlock the aspect ratio, or it's highlighted here. You've got a drop down menu. Let me highlight it again. So you've got a drop down menu right here. Go to aspect ratio, unlock. Now I'm going to make it the size I want. And again, I'm just copying. You don't have to copy. But for the sake of what I'm showing you, we're going to just copy and paste. So now I have something that I've already made into a rectangle. I've already turned off the aspect ratio. So I'm going to go ahead and right click, copy, paste. And then I'm going to put this, let's start with this one because this one's behind the other one. Remember, what's on top on the elements panel is going to be on top of anything. So like this photograph, which is this one. All of my phones keep going off now that I'm trying to do a video. The joy of this time and age when we have so many devices. Okay, so there's one, and then I'm going to right click and I'm going to paste another one. And this one is in front. And what size that is, I don't recall. I'd say it's probably right around, oh, there we go. I can see it down at the bottom. You can see it right here. So there we go. So now I've got the 3 photo frames. So now I want to push this up again. So everything is behind here. Now your title, you can do it with insert a text box. You can play around with text shapes. If you've got alpha shapes, some are going to come with your program, and then others you can purchase, or they may come into some collections that you purchase down the road. There's all kinds of fun things you can do with titles. You can add these different ribbons. Here's a ribbon where they put a journal box. For the page that I did, I just took the elements that I already had, and I'll show you my page in a few minutes, but perhaps you don't want to do flowers. You might be putting in hearts. You might be putting in, it depends on what the theme of your page is. These are basically placeholders for, here's a good place for an embellishment. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hide this now and show you a couple things. So really all I added was the photos and the circles. So I'm going to click on one of the circles. You can see now it's highlighted. I'm going to go into my content, and I'm already in papers. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take this particular paper and I'm going to fill this element. So you notice when I hover over it, a little drop-down menu comes up. What I want to do is I want to fill selected shape, which is my circle. And pay attention to the design, because you can move this around and fill however you want to. You can make it bigger if you want, smaller. It's a good size circle, so it's pretty close to the whole size of a 12 by 12 piece of paper. When you've got it where you want it, click OK, and now you have it. If you go into Format, Sample, Effects, I might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure I can apply effects. Nope, I'm wrong. Oh well, your consultant is not perfect. So I'm going to go ahead and drop down menu, fill selected shape. I just thought it was going to do something different. So the last one, I did make this a little bit bigger so I get a little bit more of the print in the paper. There we go. Now this was the fun thing that I enjoyed when I made this particular one. I was learning how to use strokes. Now, like I said, I could create the stroke when I created the circle, but I wanted to show you that even though I didn't do that, because this is highlighted, I can go up right here. These are my strokes. If I already had a stroke, then I could change the size here. Right now it's none. So I'm going to drop down menu here, and I'm going to select a stroke from an art kit. I could do a simple line if I want, and that's fun. Sometimes I'll do that on a photograph. So instead of a mat, that's a quick mat right there. So that kind of makes that stand out. But what I want to do for this one, I want to show you how to do it with something from your art kit. So I'll click on that. And with your program, you have these two categories, the basic strokes and strokes. And the one that I want to do is this stitching. So I click on that, select that, and then click select stroke. Now that's teeny tiny, you can't see it. So it's 3 points. I'm going to make this 100%. And what I did is you can use the slider scale to make this bigger or smaller. If you click on the number, you can go to 100%. So now I know exactly what it should look like when I print it out. So you can see, you can barely see that. So I'm going to take that point and I'm going to make that 8 points. That's pretty good. That looks like stitching. You can definitely see it. And I think I'll just leave that as is. I think I'll change the color of it though. You notice it defaults on brown. So there's a drop-down menu here, solid color. Now this is showing all the colors in the image here. I'm going to go with one of the darker ones. Then I'm going to go to HSB, and I want to make this a little bit darker. Play around, just go back and forth with the different sliders, see what they do. Opacity, I don't want it to become see-through. So I'm not going to play with the opacity, but I can play with the brightness. You know, the brighter you get, the more, doesn't even look like it matches anymore. I want something darker. Saturation, play around with that. When you get the color you want, click OK. So now instead of having a brown set of zigzags that looks like stitching, I have one that's the same color that's in the paper, but a little bit darker, so it'll stand out a little bit more. So what I tried to do earlier and didn't work, you can do, I know for sure, with the stroke style. So make sure this is highlighted. I'm under the format ribbon, sample, stroke style, since what I want is that zigzag. And by the way, a stroke is simply a line. And this line happens to be a zigzag. You can change this into all kinds of fun stuff. I'm going to click on the second one. Now I want to apply stroke style. So now what I did is I applied the exact same width, shape, and color zigzag on this circle that I have on the other circle. When I click on this, photo, sample, stroke style, go to this photo, apply stroke style. So now all three of these match. I can click on the background, go to one of these papers. Let's choose this one, make background. So you just keep building on it. Now I want to see what's left. Okay, so there's all these little embellishments. There's the title, things like that. Those are those things that are personal. Just play with, make your own page. I'm going to go to photos now, click on this one, and I want to, actually, let me just, I like it better just dragging and dropping. This I got from somebody, sent it via text, so that way it's not as big a file as if somebody emailed it to me or if I took the picture myself. Excuse me. So I can't make it very, very big, but I'll just lower it until that little warning yellow triangle goes away. And that's pretty good. she's filling up the square nicely. Now I want to fill this one. I want to see more of her face and this one. Sorry. Tickle in my throat. I still like the drag and drop. And this is an example of where I probably want to reshape it and make it my own, because this is a little bit more of that shape than it was the other one. Anyway, so hopefully you get the idea, and hopefully I can stop coughing soon. The page that I did in my own book was this one. And so you can see again the layout idea. This particular one, the sample had 2 pictures, I had 3. And then this one I did here. I have this embellishment is going this direction. It's a whole embellishment. I put a journal box on top of it. I made my own here, which would be like this one. I liked this. It fit perfectly with what I wanted to say. So this was another thing out of my artwork. Instead of making my own journal box like this, you see I've got a ribbon behind it, another ribbon that goes kind of at an angle. So it's not exactly what you see here. I made it my own. And that's what I always encourage people to do. Make it your own. Just use this as a sample. Let me get rid of the outside edges so you don't see all that. The other thing that I did with this, with the shape, if you click on this, you've got the opacity. You notice I have it at 60%. I thought 100% was a little bit too bright for what I wanted to do. So this is something else that you can do, kind of playing around. Made it 60%. I could still see the background a little bit. You can see the stitching really well. But the yellow still comes through. So I hope that gives you some ideas. It was a very simple page. I made it my own. Hopefully some of the things that I showed you was something new. Like I said, I've just been learning how to work with the strokes recently. So I've really been having fun playing with those. I like to use a lot of shadowing. I think that helps things kind of pop off the page. This was using an alpha set. This was a journal box. These were embellishments that I had. These were embellishments that I had. So like I said, jump in, enjoy the Creative Memories crops. Don't worry if you're working on a storybook and not working on a scrapbook. You can make it work for you. Let me know if you have any questions, and I hope to see you at the crop this weekend. Thanks.